all those people that are sitting there promoting her and saying, this is wonderful, this is great, they can't hire her even if they want to, because ultimately, when it gets right down to it, they can't trust her. And even if they thought they could trust her, and this young people is something you got to understand, okay? Even if the person who wants to hire you did trust you, could trust you, they have other people to convince to bring you on board. Here's the 1 minute, it's about a minute video, just for those who may not be familiar with who she is, all right? This is her talking to HR, recording on her phone. I'm not sure if HR knew that they were being recorded, but either way, this is her. She set up her phone. She knew she was going to get laid off, and she made a recording. So let's just look at this part real quick.
Well, we're not able to go into specifics.
All right, just a quick sound check. Everybody good on sound? Are we good? I assume we can hear everything. Jamie, if you're still there, does the sound okay? Thumbs up. Okay, it sounds good. Okay, just wanted to make sure. All right, here we go.
Well, we're not able to go into specifics, and there's no situation where we will be able to go into.
Do you guys even know like why, like who you're talking to each day? Like every single 10, 15 minutes, do you guys even know who you're talking to? Like why you're letting these people go when you don't even understand like the kind of work and everything that they've put in?
I hear you and what you're saying.
It just doesn't make any sense that you guys have still not been able to give me a reason why I'm being let go.
Hi, you guys. So
okay, so that's where that ended at. All right. And now then, what I want to do now is I want to show you the update of what happened to her. Now, why is she interrupting? Oh, Jamie, I'm telling you, I will link the full video in the description box later. Exactly. And at one point, don't quote me, I think she uses the word bastard. Okay. Don't quote me on that exact word, but it was in that, like, because I remember thinking, oh my God, I wouldn't use that at work. Okay. But I do believe that was the word. Don't quote me. Don't sue me. This is just an entertainment channel. Don't take anything I say too seriously. Ha ha. Okay. Here's the thing. I remember when I saw this in January, along with the other 19 million plus people. And I remember thinking to myself, what has she done? All right. I just remember going, what has she done? I don't think there is a soul alive that has worked in quote unquote corporate, okay, and doesn't have a horror story. But we have to remember, me at 57, all right, when I had my horror story with corporate, that was in early 2000. And let me tell you, it was an absolute horror story. But even now, and that happened in my early, so I started teaching at 36. This happened when I was like in my 32, 33, right around there. So we're talking over 20 years ago. I wouldn't go on social media today. I wouldn't tell you what the company was. I could tell you the situation, okay? But I would never tell you what the company was, the time period, city. And, in other words, there's a way to tell a story. I do it on this channel all the time, okay? I tell you events in my life, but I keep the events related to me. I don't out friends, family, people who don't like me. I don't out other people. And that's something I'm very, very careful about social media. And I protect my family, just like, the responsible older daughter should. Okay. And anything I have to say about anything is going to be positive. All right. If I have to talk negative, I'm going to talk in terms of my own experience, but I'm not going to say, hey, I work for Cloudflare, because that's the company she worked for. I work for Cloudflare. I did it from this time to this time. These are the people I'm talking to. And I just really remember watching this and just thinking this is an absolute nightmare. And people pretty much, okay, the aftermath of this, what I call the red sweater video, because the video I just showed you, okay? I mean, she got millions, not just millions of views, of course, but millions of likes, thumbs up, okay? And this is why I titled this stream this evening, I said, did social media fail Brittany? Now, we can look at it and say, oh, you know what? Social media didn't fail her. She did it to herself. Yeah, she did. But let's look at her age. She's a millennial. What is it that a lot of millennials are doing that Gen X's and boomer generations would never even think to do? And maybe even older millennials, okay? The old generation, because, within a generation, you got the young millennials, the older millennials. And that was, she used social media as a platform to vent very personal work information. This is stuff that I would never, ever do. Jamie says on here, let's see, here are things an employee could sue depending on the type of work or backlash. Yeah, but we have to also remember most states are right to work states. They don't have to give you a reason. And I remember watching the clip and just going, she's pressing HR for all these answers, but all of us who are experienced know you're not going to get it. Okay. She's pressing HR to tell her everything she wants to know. But we're talking corporate. When you get laid off and you're in a big enough corporation, it's not your boss, your immediate boss that you report to that's going to lay you off. It's going to be a company that they've hired, that they're contracted with to call these 400 people, to call these 1,000 people to a Zoom meeting or whatever, type. Sorry, I got lipstick on. Or whatever type of meeting to lay them off. We older people, we know this. So you're literally banging your head against the wall when you're sitting there going, oh man, why won't they tell me why I was laid off? That's not their job. Their job is simply to conduct the layoff. So I sat there watching her do it. And Jamie, I'm telling you, she did a lot, in my opinion, of interrupting. And this is something older, wiser, okay, more experienced people would know not to do. When you're in that type of situation, hate to say it's kind of like, okay, and as I say, it's kind of like when you're going through a divorce. Don't sit there and scream at your 2BX every thought you ever had. That's when you just keep your mouth shut. The less words said, just, okay, I hear you. And then you go to the correct people to address further issues. That might not have been a great example, but Hi, MJ. Welcome, welcome. So anyways, also, I don't know if a lot of people knew, her father, and in the clip that I'll be playing for you, the updated clip that I think she just updated like a month or so ago. It's not old, okay? But it hasn't gained near the traction, and I think it should, personally, because I think the update is more interesting just for the fact of what was the final result. It's like we started the story, but we don't know the ending, and we still don't have an ending, okay? But her father, from what I heard her say in an interview that she did, I think works with HR. In other words, she had a senior, okay, member of the family, a Gen X, okay, my generation, member of the family, most likely, okay, that could actually guide her. She apparently never went to him. I guess she talked about it initially with him. This is what was said in the interview, not an exact quote. She talked about initially with him about, this layoff that was happening. And then for whatever reason, because I can darn well bet any father would not say to his daughter, hey, I think you should go on social media and discuss your job layoff with the entire world. All right. And I will, to her credit, okay, we have to give credit where credit is due. I guess she didn't initially intend to upload it to TikTok. I guess she sent it to a friend or something like that. And then the friend passed it on to someone else. And then someone said, hey, you should stick it on TikTok. Boy, she may not have expected it to go viral, but it sure did. Because remember, folks, it's the corporate world and people can't keep their mouth shut. I spent a little over 10 years in corporate. I absolutely disliked it. I love education. It has its own issues too, but man, I'll die on a cross for education. I won't do it for corporate. I don't care how much money it makes. No, you cannot make this up. So her father, apparently, she did not go to him and say, Dad, should I go ahead and, put my grievances out online? This is something that I wish millennials would pay attention to. Millennials and Gen Z. Okay? And Gen Z. When you put your work grievances online, you're basically, to some extent, okay, and I mean you intentionally put it online. We're not talking the innocent person who's just doing their daily job and somebody holds up a freaking camera to them. I am totally excluding Okay, I got outed on social media for doing push-ups outside and was told how incredibly fat I was. Oh yes, oh yes. Okay, and I'm a heavy weightlifter. All right, not so much heavy weightlifter anymore with my knees, but I am considered pretty fit for 57 years old. Oh, and the comments were cruel and horrible. It's like okay, whatever. All right, but a lot of young people don't realize when you intentionally upload company stuff, what you're really doing is saying, I can't keep my mouth shut. I can't keep anything private. So the title of this being, did social media fail Brittany? Did social media lead Brittany to believe before she made the upload that if she uploaded and could get people on her side, that maybe it would save her job, or maybe even if she didn't want to have the job saved, that maybe it would help her get another job? And I remember watching this going, this was going to either be, sink or swim. There was going to be no half and half. I said, either somebody's going to admire this woman so much they're going to hire her and she's going to be making, money that sinks us all because she's got so much of it, or she's going to fall flat on her face. So let's find out exactly what happened. All right, here we go. This is the next update. And I cut it down a little bit shorter, but I took it off by about 3 minutes. And I'm going to do my commentary as this plays because I remember. All right. And she's a beautiful young lady. I think she's savable, but dang, she needs a mentor badly. All right, I'm going to do commentary as we go through this. All right, and again, this just was uploaded like a month or so ago. This is recent. This is the Brittany Peach update.
So I am currently at a conference in Las Vegas right now, and I'm here independently because I was actually asked to speak. And that just happened earlier today, and I'll make a new separate video about it. But I want to share with you guys one of the scariest things that I've heard since I've been here.
Okay, now this conference, I apologize. This is a conference that she went to right after this, I call it the red sweater incident because that's the red sweater she wore, okay? Right after the initial posting, and it'll be after this one, I'll give you the update. So my apologies on that.
So this conference is primarily for leaders in the industry. So most of the people that are attending this conference right now are chief people officers, chief HR officers.
Basically, the people attending this conference are the people who have the power to say to her, Brittany, we love you. We're going to give you a job. Now, remember, she got millions, not just views, but positive feedback. Yay, Brittany. Go, Brittany. Now, she's had enough, pressure and social hate, I'm sure, put on her. So the purpose of this is not to add more to it, but it's to analyze it. That's what we're doing. We're analyzing.
Hire executives that deal with people.
Yes, the people that could hire her.
Which is most companies. And there was a session yesterday that I attended, and it was a chief people officer of a very, very large, I'll just say it. It was a chief people officer of Priceline who said this.
Okay, so we now know it's Priceline. We know, I think she's going to tell you that it's a female, okay? And we know where this all took place. Not hard to track somebody down, not hard to track them down.
And she's on stage and they're talking about the new and the next of work. What does the future of the workforce look like? Return to office is a very big topic of conversation here.
Also, sometimes you'll see return to office written as RTO. Just in case you ever wondered, what is RTO, return to office?
And this is what she said. She said, I believe that people can do a job from home, but I don't believe they can have a career from home. And if I worked at that company and I heard our leader of that company that I'm with say that, like on an all hands meeting, and they're talking about return to office, and they tell me that, I'm immediately looking for another job.
Boom. People, what's the problem? So she's already put herself on social media in a red sweater doing a layoff, basically drilling HR. And as Jamie said, doing a lot of interruptions. Yes, I interrupt the videos a lot, but this is a commentary channel, so I got an excuse there. But for those who have not yet seen the video, or if you have seen it and you remember, there are a lot of interruptions, a lot of very demanding, tell me this. And look, here's the thing. She's not the only one who's gone through stuff like that. I'm sure maybe her young age, she felt like she was the only one and she was looking for support. Okay. All right. It happens to the nicest of us, happens to the meanest of us. All right. It simply happens. All right. So she is actually at this conference already with a whole bunch of people that she admits could hire her. That they are. Okay. Chief People Officer. Their whole job is hiring. I'd never heard of a CPO. Not the character in Star Wars. Okay. Chief People Officer. She should have been thinking to herself, at least I would have been. I would have gone, dang, these are people who can hire me. I need to put my best foot forward. I need to perhaps backtrack a little and perhaps, say if I had to do things over again, I don't know, I don't think I would have put this video up because I realized the trust it could make, the perception of broken trust that people might have of me. And so, I don't regret the reasons I put it up. I realized that maybe that wasn't the best tact. Does she do that at the conference? No. She goes on and she outs the CPO of Priceline, all right, about what she said. So to me, this is like 2 strikes. And these aren't little strikes. She's at this Las Vegas conference in front of 3,000 people that she was invited to. I'm sure she didn't have to pay for her plane ticket because she probably doesn't have any money. Okay. All right. And again, this isn't to bash Brittany. All right. It's really about, can we learn? Because, I'm big on this channel about learning from our mistakes. Can we learn from Brittany's experience? Okay. What to avoid? And I would tell you what to emulate if there was anything to emulate. There's nothing here I'd want to copy down. Absolutely nothing. Except do not do everything she did. Okay? Did social media fail Brittany because millions of people said, yay, Brittany, you're wonderful. I totally agree. Down with corporate, down with bosses. Did they fail her because none of them are offering her a job, at least from what we can tell so far? And you're going to see the tears are coming. You will see the tears coming. Okay? Literally. Okay? That'll be in the next video. If she really, really wanted to try to go to that conference with getting a job, I think it would have behooved her to have perhaps admitted that the way she did this wasn't the best. Now, here's the kicker. People go, well, maybe she didn't think that. Okay, maybe she didn't. But see, part of climbing up in corporate, and I've been there for over a decade. I'm education now. I'm in my 19th year of teaching. You deal with parents, you deal with administrators, you deal with a lot of different things. You got to learn the art of diplomacy. You got to learn the art of tact. You got to learn to understand, when is it appropriate for you to speak up and when should you just listen? She went to this conference, in my opinion, with too much of her own agenda versus, as my principal would say, can you reflect on it? She seems to have done no reflection whatsoever on what went wrong. And part of it, and I will admit, part of it might be because this conference happened very shortly after the layoff video, the red sweater video, was put up. So there wasn't, most likely, I'm going to give her some credit for this, there probably wasn't a lot of time between the time the red sweater video went 20 million viral to, hey, let's invite you to a conference. And here's something else that she may not have also considered, just in my opinion. Did the conference invite her because they wanted her specifically? Like, we want you, Brittany, we agree with you, we love you, yada, yada. Or did they invite her to simply help sell tickets to the conference? It says here, Jamie writes, not willing to change what the employer needs. Also is very outspoken. Yes. And outspoken and corporate, you kind of need to learn some tact. Okay, it's a labyrinth. You got to learn. But I don't care if it's corporate. I don't care what the job is. I don't care if you're a plumber, teacher, or carpenter. It doesn't matter. Every profession, you got to learn the art of diplomacy. You are so right, girlfriend. Jamie says, okay, here's what gets me. Why people are so against change and working back in the office. I don't know, Jamie, why people are. Okay, because here Brittany's complaining about, what is the Priceline CPO, Chief People Officer, wants people to go back to the office. When COVID hit, I live in 840 square feet, and my principal gave us the option. Okay, my principal was very generous, and she says, "Look, Carrie, you're going to be teaching online. You have a choice to come into school or stay at home." Literally, she's like, "Pick the one you want." I jumped at the opportunity to go to school because I thought I was going to have a mental breakdown. I did not, and I'm happy to say I've survived the whole thing. But you guys know what I mean. COVID, people were losing it. Okay, we were out of routine. We were just nothing was going right. And I remember when she says, "Well, you don't have to go into the classroom." No, I want my routine. I want to complain because I don't have quite enough time to get myself from the gym to work. Okay, this is my routine. Lovingly complaining. Okay. Oh my goodness, I got to get off the gym floor. It's 8 o'clock. Yada yada. I want my routine, and I was so happy to be back at the office. Now, I understand some people say, "Well, that's because you have a cat, a dog, and 2 kids, and a spouse, whatever." I don't think for me it would matter. I have to have that routine of a reason to get up. I want to come home tired. Not saying I want to retire broke. Better yet, not saying I don't want to be able to retire because I want to have a routine and go to work every day. No, I'm not pushing it that far. Okay, but even when I retire, I got to have a reason to get up and get out of bed, right? So here she is outing the poor CP line for wanting employees to come back home. She is supposed to be the guest speaker. It's like this woman can't keep, and I'm trying to be kind of light, all right? Because we're not here to bash Brittany. This is not bash Brittany, but it is to really take a critical look at you are a guest at a company or at this conference. There are thousands of people by her own admission that are in the power position to hire. Instead of taking time to complain about something you heard that you don't like, you learn to put on your social graces. You put on that smile. "Hello, my name's Carrie. It's so nice to meet you." Okay. You got to learn to put that on. You got to learn to change hats. And I think, and Jamie, you might be kind of alluding to this also with her inability, to go to work and stuff, from home, to return to work to some extent. And I'm not saying, I support returning to work. It's like to each their own. Okay. I really don't care if people work from home or not. I only care if I do. I want to work on campus. Okay. I love the school environment, but she didn't put on the hat of social graces. It's like she went to the freaking conference with her own agenda. She went on with blinders, and then she makes this video at the conference. And of course, all the people at the conference, have not only have seen the video, but she actually said this during the conference. So when she was on stage, because I told her I'm not playing the whole thing. So like when she was actually being interviewed at the conference, a silent audience, 3,000 people, she brought this up. So everybody probably turned and looked at the Priceline CEO. There's another way to get out of a job.
That to me tells me that
she's talking about that to her about requiring you to go back to work.
You don't believe in my ability to take control of my own career.
And what she's missing here, what the lovely Brittany is missing, is that this conference wasn't about her. The remark that the CEO said about, the Priceline CEO saying, "Hey, you know what, if you stay at home, I think you can have a job, but I think it's going to be difficult to have a career." Okay. Brittany somehow or another has really internalized this. I think she's internalizing too much stuff. She's taking it too personally.
And tell you what works best for me. And
that's the problem. She wants to be the boss. That's kind of what I see. Brittany wants to be in charge, and Brittany has a difficult time with people who push back and do something and want to do something else. And Brittany needs to remember, she was talking about a woman who has apparently climbed the ranks to become one of the chief officers of Priceline. Now, call me stupid. All right, maybe not so bright, but I think the woman probably knows a thing or two. I think the CPO or whatever it is of Priceline knows a thing or two. That's the type of person that Brittany needs as a mentor. You see? But Brittany, and I'm not saying it's because she's a millennial, so let's not be blaming all this just because they're millennials, okay? But Brittany, at the age she's at, okay, doesn't see, from what I perceive, anything wrong. She doesn't see that her actions are giving people a perception that they can't hire her even if they want to. Why? Because they're not sure. Is she going to record them secretly? Is she going to out what is it? Who, what, when, where? In other words, to be able to work in any organization, I don't care if it's corporate or not, any organization, any company, any boss, any coworkers, okay, there's got to be some level of discretion. There's got to be. I get frustrated on my job, and sometimes I'll go into my lead's room. I'll be like, and of course, it'll be no kids around. It's just us, and be like, rah, 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 and I go, rah, 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 I just need to vent, and then that's it. And we all go back, and we all continue on with our day. I just needed to vent. That's all. We've all been there. I think everybody's been there. I couldn't imagine if somebody at my job took it and recorded it and said, well, I'm going to pass this out to the whole freaking world. You got to have that type of trust. She going on social media like this, and with all the people, don't forget going, yay, Brittany, we love you, Brittany. Okay, we agree with you. They can't offer her a job. Why? Because they ain't on TikTok. The people who can offer her the job, the sales type job that she wants, they ain't hanging out on TikTok. They're sitting in boardroom meetings, hopefully that are in confidential meetings without the whole, world having to listen to it. Twice, though, she's outed people. She's outed HR at her Cloudflare job. That's the red sweater video. And then she outed CEO of Priceline. I mean, lady, that's two people.
And as
No, it's two companies.
a chief people officer, when I heard that, I was like, where did you get that information from?
This woman demands a lot of answers. She's very demanding. I don't think she talks about how she doesn't want to work for people. I got to be honest. I don't think I'd want to work for her. See, but we're trying to be kind. We're analyzing. That's what we're doing. Okay. I look at the way she is very barky, demanding, at least in her conversation with HR. And again, I understand she's getting laid off. I understand. I get it. I have been in very, very, like I said, when I was in my early 30s, oh my God, the work situation I was in, I worked in the insurance industry. It was god awful. Okay. So I've been there. But I don't think she realizes that the perception she's giving to people is who wants to work for her? Who wants to work for a Brittany? And people go, oh, yeah, I'd work for you because your morals and values are great. Then hire her. Help people hire her. And here's another interesting thought. Her father, who, like I said, from what I understand the interview, okay, works either in, around, or is related to HR work. How come none of his buddies will hire his daughter? He is related to the HR industry. Okay, not family related, but work. Okay, his work has something to do along the lines of it touches HR. How come none of his friends have said, "Oh my gosh, I saw your 20 million videos on your daughter going viral here. You know what? We're going to give you a job." Why won't they give her a job? Because they can't, even if they want to. All those people that are sitting there promoting her and saying, "This is wonderful, this is great," they can't hire her even if they want to, because ultimately, when it gets right down to it, they can't trust her. And even if they thought they could trust her, and this young people is something you got to understand, okay? Even if the person who wants to hire you did trust you, could trust you, they have other people to convince to bring you on board. A hiring decision is never made by just one person alone. It's never made. I mean, even with the CEO of the company, there's usually a board. Okay, very rarely is it one person playing king. And even if that person does get to play king, if they want to keep the best staff around them, guess what? They're going to have to do some placating of other people's opinions on who they're bringing on board. So what she doesn't seem to realize is, even if the people that want to hire her, and I've seen some of the comments, with people going, well, I'm in a hiring position, and if you were if I had a job, I'd hire you. Well, isn't it amazing, all those people saying that, telling her that, if I had an opening, I'd hire you? They don't seem to have an opening, because it's about more than just the person that likes Brittany to want to hire her. They got to get the staff around to hire her. They have, even though the staff may not be the one signing on the hiring line, it's just like a school. You bring somebody infamous to a school, okay? I'm not saying she's infamous, okay? But I'm just saying, you bring someone to school. Are they going to lift morale, or are they going to bring it down? Are they going to bring unwanted social attention? How are they going to make the staff feel? See, these are things that Brittany did not think about before she not only did the layoff. And let's just, like I said, let's just say, Okay, apologies for the layoff video. This video tells you she doesn't have a clue. She doesn't have insight into realizing it's not the people that say they love you on TikTok. Forget all that. They're not in the position to hire. And the ones that are in the position to hire have to bring you on knowing that the staff around them are also going to be supportive, lest they find themselves out of a job for bringing you on. You bring in a secret camera, you out all the employee secrets. This is the type of woman. And again, I'm not being mean. I'm giving you a 57-year-old's analysis that worked in a god awful corporate job. I love my job today in education. Okay, I'm in my 19th year teaching. So I've been around the block a lot. This is the type of person, if somebody like this came to my campus, not my campus, but you get what I mean, came to my school, it's just somebody that had made the media rounds like this, that was proven to out people, bring secret cameras, whatever, I would stay as far away from this person as possible. It would literally be no more than, have a nice day, goodbye, thank you. This is the problem. And this is what Brittany doesn't see. It's a domino effect. That's what it is. It is a domino effect. All Brittany sees is, I got a lot of social media support. Hence, did the media fail Brittany? The media, in some ways, I think did fail her in the sense that it gave her a false sense of support. Support has to be more than just, yay, we love you, heartsies, heartsies. It's got to be, hey, here's a job. It starts at $50,000 a year. Yeah, I know. Let's just take it for what it is right now, okay? Hey, here's a sales job. It starts at $50,000 a year. We have signed you on. You have a 1 full year trial, right?
Are you pulling that from your own personal experience?
Again, we're talking about the Priceline CEO. I told you guys this is like deep commentary, okay? This is the Priceline CEO saying that people should return to work, and that you can't have a career at home, but you can have a job at home. And the Priceline, not CEO, but the chief people officer of the Priceline is a woman.
Are you pulling that from experience you've seen other people maybe not successfully be able to work from home? The point is that because she feels that way, she now has based her entire corporate policy around that.
And she has the right to do that. She's been hired. She's been proven competent to be, and look, I am not, okay, don't start sending a bunch of hate mail. Well, actually, go ahead and do it if you want, because it'll help improve the YouTube algorithm for comments. Okay. But if you really get down to it, that's what she was hired to do. Hence, that's why the CPO Priceline has a job and Brittany currently does not. Jamie writes, I was able to work at the office because I work in security. We were required. I'd like to separate home from work. Yes, Jamie, absolutely. Separate home from work. I don't want to look at my bedroom every single moment sitting in literally, in my case, 840 square feet, I'm pretty much confined to a couch. That's pretty much what I got. Couch and my computer deck here. Oh, Carrie, there's an echo when I move. Okay, hold on. Thank you for telling me. I will try to move less. Thank you for telling me. You guys got to tell me these things.
And all three reasons that she said have all to do with company productivity.
Yes, isn't that what every company works for? Productivity. We are, let's face people, we are not, hopefully I'm trying to move around less. Guys, tell me when your viewing or listening pleasure for the technicals starts to go south. Please tell me. You just type it in the chat. Is she missing that it's all about productivity? We don't like to admit it, but it is. I mean, I can go to school every day, be a great teacher, but if no kid of mine can ever pass an exam because, well, Gary shows up and she smiles all day and she looks nice, it's all about productivity. That's the whole thing. You ever gone to Macy's, okay, which is closing a bunch of stores, and I have literally sat on one of their beds, because it's, in the bedding department, waited 20 minutes to get checked out, and it takes them 20 minutes to check out one customer. And I'm like, okay, if you check out one customer every 20 minutes, you're checking out 3 people a day, which is basically 24 people in an 8-hour workday. It's about productivity.
And to me, that is a huge, huge red flag. It feels like we're going backwards. And it's funny because I actually heard this session yesterday, and my session was today. And of course, being who I am, I mentioned this on the session. I didn't call out the name, but we were all there for this session. There was all of us were there, 3,000 attendees there. And we all heard her say this. And I'm like, wow, does everyone else agree here? But I didn't really care. So,
and that's also a problem. I didn't care. You need to care. You need to care a lot.
So I said it in the session. I was like, I heard this yesterday and it really struck me because I have to say, I completely disagree. When I did share that in my session, I got
all that background noise is from her video.
A round of applause.
Okay, so when she stood up and said, I don't agree with this woman sitting over here, Chief People Officer of Priceline, I don't agree with her. More people went, yay! Did social media fail Brittany? Or did Brittany fail herself? Social media, I believe, convinced Brittany to keep moving forward, keep outing herself, keep outing everything that she saw wrong. And Brittany bought into it. And I think in a false way, social media convinced Brittany that she would come up roses. And I, again, being a Gen X, I said to myself, no, this isn't going to end well. I literally remember going, this is not going to end well. Okay, it's MJ is in the house. Yay, MJ. All right, let's see. What does she write? MJ says she doesn't really have a corporate girl attitude. She needs to just do social media, maybe start a YouTube channel, strike while the iron's hot. MJ, it's interesting because people on her on TikTok were saying, why don't you just start a channel? But I'm going to be honest, folks. I'm going to be real honest. Now, I know I'm a YouTube hobbyist, okay? All right, I do it as strictly as a hobby, not for money. Because so far, folks, I have made $31 on YouTube. It is way more expensive and difficult. Okay, even for me as a hobbyist, I wouldn't want to do this as a job. It is not as easy as people think. I don't want to get off on that, but it even with a lot of people, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make money. And then you have to treat it like a business. You really need to hire editors, photographers. You as it grows, you need people to help you, or you're going to literally be working 24/7. Here, but MJ, you make a darn good point though. She needs to listen more. She needs to listen more. Okay, folks, the part we've been waiting for. All right. We are now going, I told you it's going to probably wind up being a full show, okay? We are now going to hear the update, and I'm just going to let her talk right through this update. Here we go.
Hey, tears are from constant rejection. I don't know if I can keep going. I have had so many incredibly promising opportunities come my way over the last month, and absolutely none of them have worked out. I have prepared so many presentations, demos, discovery calls, and it all comes down to I wasn't able to click on the right thing in the demo, or someone else has more experience than me, and I just can't keep going. More than anything, I want to be in a sales role, and I want to thrive and succeed. And no company is giving me a chance, and I just have to believe it's really because of the TikTok video that I posted. There were so many comments of people saying, oh, no one will ever hire her, she doesn't even know. But all those comments were completely outweighed by everyone telling me that they would hire me in a heartbeat. But when it comes down to it, I don't think companies want to take that risk. And I'm the only one suffering and paying the price for that. So I think maybe God is just telling me that this isn't my path, and I'm just not meant to be in the corporate world. I don't know. So consider this my official declaration of trying to make a career and make money in other ways, which includes 100% being my own boss, so I never have to worry about this ever again, because this shit is not for the weak. I've always believed in being outspoken and standing up for what you believe in. I just didn't realize it was going to come with this hefty of a price. If anyone has any ideas or advice on starting your own business or something, I don't know, I would appreciate any help. I've also just not been posting on TikTok because I've been scared that that would prevent me from getting a job. So I've been missing out on months of income to pay for my rent or help pay for my rent, and I am now really struggling with money. I will keep posting and sharing and doing what my heart calls to do.
In short, hold on here. In short, what she's saying, she's learned nothing. I'm going to keep posting and sharing. It's kind of like when you dig yourself into a hole, you don't keep saying, well, I'm just going to keep doing it. You're keeping and doing what's digging you into the hole. Okay, Jamie writes, but does she have the something in the money to be self-employed? Raymond writes, who is Brittany? Raymond, I don't have, unfortunately, I can't explain it all over again. You can watch the beginning of the stream and I tell you exactly who she is. Okay. I'm sorry. I can't do that to my audience and have to re-explain from the beginning. It's kind of like being a teacher. You'll have to play it on rewind. Okay. But I'm so glad to see you here and welcome to the chat. Thank you so much for joining. So here's the thing. First off, MJ, I was thinking of you when you talked about her being self-employed. And MJ, thank you so much for. MJ wrote in the chat. She said, "Carrie, you make YouTube look easy." You know what? I will tell you this: YouTube is not as easy if you want it done well. If you want to put any sort of effort into it, like I'm trying to improve my thumbnails and all of this stuff. I mean, if you just want to put up a video camera with your cell phone and, log on, have at it. It really depends upon what you want. Hence this little, $5,000 setup I got sitting here. Okay. But that's my little computer deck. So she says that she didn't realize she would have to pay this hefty of a price. This is why we have mentors. This is why we should ask people. And hopefully, Jamie, I'm not moving as much. Okay. So I'm trying to keep the sound steady. This is why we have mentors. This is my opinion. Before you do something on social media, get the opinions of people who aren't necessarily your buddies. Okay. Now, if they say she went to her dad for some advice, I can guarantee you, just like I said, her dad did not say, hey, honey, I think you should film your layoff and stick it on social media. I guarantee you her dad did not tell her to do that. And if she had really thought about it, when a coworker, and I think this is because I saw the interview actually, okay? She had mentioned something about a coworker suggesting sticking it on TikTok. You need to ask people who are out of your age bracket, who are older, wiser with experience. Would you do this? I have a friend, a very good friend of mine. I'm not going to say what the situation was a couple of years ago. We are 10 years apart, okay? We are 10 years apart. I'm 10 years older. And she took an action and she was like, she goes, this action didn't turn out well. And I said, what did you do? She told me what she did. And then this was like 5 years ago. Okay. It's like before COVID. All right. So it was a few years back. So at the time I was like 52. Okay. She had taken action. And all I remember is going, oh my God. I said, girlfriend, if I had known you were going to do that, I'd have told you don't do it. And she actually, she's very reflective and she's like, you know what? She goes, I wish I'd asked you. Okay. You need to ask people who aren't just your peers and your friends. Ask people who are also older. Ask people who have had some experience. Because I guarantee you, anybody who actually cared about her would have said, you don't go recording your videos. Okay. You don't go recording. All right. There is a proper chain of command. The other thing is she's young and not established in her career. When you are not established in your career and you're, what is it? They call it green behind the ears. It's either green or wet behind the ears. I can't remember. Okay. Green or wet behind the ears. Meaning I guess you're new at something, right? In this industry, I guess in the industry of sales, guys, she's not established. So she's treating her outspoken social media activist is acting like she's established. She's not established. And this is something young people, you got to consider before you start outing yourself and complaining about work. I'm solid in my career. Year 19 as a teacher at the same school, have taught 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I am solid. I understand my job. I understand the duties. Don't always hit the mark, but I do the best I can. Okay. I'm solid. I would have more of a reason to go out and complain because then they go, well, yeah, she's in 19, next year I will spend 2 decades in it. I wouldn't even do it, even with all of my experience. Brittany's saying that she didn't realize she would pay such a hefty price. This is why you need a mentor. And she didn't have one. And I hate to say it, part of me says she wouldn't have gotten one even if she had one. Because I think part of the problem, again, we are not here to bash Brittany, but I think part of the problem also is that someone like her already believes they know it. And how do we know that? Because she says, I don't care what people say. I'm just going to keep doing it. When your ship is sinking, when there's a hole in the boat, okay, you don't just keep making it bigger and go, by golly, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, what is that term? Guys, family, do you remember when I first started this channel and I asked you what that term was? When people keep sinking themselves, and I said I was going to write it down. Sunken fallacy. Thank you to my family. 2 people told me what that was. Okay, sunken fallacy. When something is going terribly wrong in your life, but you refuse to change course because you've invested so much in it, so you just keep sinking and sinking. Remember Ocean Gate? Exactly. Now that Ocean Gate, that submarine that went down is basically a can of tuna. All right. And he was a billionaire. He put all his money into it. By God, we're taking it down to go see the Titanic. And unfortunately, rest in peace. Lives that were lost, especially the teenager. Okay. The 16-year-old. That's when I really feel badly for. Okay. But that's sunken fallacy. She's at sunken fallacy from what I can tell. And she can't, in her own mind, admit that maybe this was a really bad idea. She absolutely cannot admit that. And the inability to say, hey, you know what? This was a horrible idea. I shouldn't have done it. Well, she's at sunken fallacy. So the tears, she's now asking basically for sort of, I guess, donations and all of that stuff. And it's sad. It's sad. She will eventually get a job. She'll land something at some point. But I think her biggest challenge is going to be getting someone to not just hire her, but to convince their own staff that she's trustworthy to come on board. And everything she's done, her actions between the conference in Las Vegas, the infamous red sweater video, okay, just tells me I couldn't hire her even if I wanted to. Because I would have to convince my staff that, hey, this is the type of person we want on board. So anyways,